We're live on our end. Going live.
Do I want to go live?
Yes.
Okay. Error. Please use a keyframe frequency for about 4 seconds. The current keyframe.
We're live.
What?
He's getting an error on his end, though.
Oh, no. I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Is it live? Are we live?
Maybe my wife should check that out. Ophelia.
Maybe. Oh, it says something about error. Please use a keyframe frequency for 4 seconds or less. Current keyframes are not being sent often enough. Don't know what that means. It's asking me to open some fucking widget.
That's an old error.
Old error.
Old error.
Just gonna fucking ignore that.
Yeah.
Just ignoring it.
Yeah. Are we good? We're good to go?
I don't know. We can see. I can go on YouTube right here.
We're rocking here.
We're rocking.
Ad on his.
Huh? You got an ad on your channel, dude. Come on, man.
It's got an ad on it.
You gotta hit us up for your AdSense.
It's got a fucking ad on it.
On a live. Come on, man.
Does it really have an ad on it?
Yeah.
Why the fuck does it have an ad on it?
We're good.
If I say fuck enough times, it'll probably demonetize it anyway.
Exactly.
So we'll be good to go.
Exactly. So hey,
Is it really had an ad on it there? No shit, huh?
Bronca, can you beer me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I also need an opener or something. All right. I could use this later.
You're not shitting. It did play an ad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you're always clocking us for that reviewing dollar. They think I'm bad. Forget about it. All right.
That's fucking great. That is great. He's like, this fucking guy.
This guy's got an Angry Orchard thing on his keys. Well, why would you put alcohol-related things on your keys? So when the cop pulls you over and he sees this dangling out of your steering,
That's a bad move. That's like there was somebody that had a cologne that smelled like weed. And I was like, why would you want a cologne that smells like weed? That's not a good fucking move. You're going to get pulled over. And the cop's going to be like, have you been smoking? No, it's my cologne.
Let me tell you the trick. You keep Reese's peanut butter cups in your glove compartment. Peanut butter is the only thing that can mask alcohol off the breath.
Oh, I thought you were
do not condone drinking and driving.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
And the hand job. Hey, you want to eat this while I drink? Actually, that sounds like a much better night than me writing you a ticket. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit. Life has just gone sideways. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Hello, everybody.
Have you ever seen Bad Lieutenant?
Bad Lieutenant, what's that?
Oh, you got to go back and watch Bad Lieutenant.
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a classic Harvey Keitel film. It's very dark. It is very real.
Good old Harvey.
It's crazy. It's just crazy, and it's New York, and it's like worst time ever. You got to go back and watch it. It's a brilliant movie.
I'll have to check it out.
We're here, man. We're here for the Smoke Live. Jeremy
Hello,
Siers,
everybody that's out there live. Thank you for tuning in, showing up, and being live.
Habano Box Press, Robusto. It's a lot. It's a lot to say.
There's a lot to say.
It is.
It is. Look, AB's in the chat. I just saw Alec Bradley in the house.
Congratulations, guys. I need a loan. Please give me a call. Let's talk about how you can funnel funds through our business and get back. Because every guy that sells a business in tobacco, they go through a period of like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Any business period.
Hold on, wait. I missed something. AB sold his business?
Alec Bradley?
Yeah, did I miss something?
They just sold for $72.5 million to Cigars.
God damn, son. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You know that collab you were talking about doing? It ain't happening.
Yeah, no shit. You know that collab you were going to do with them? Not anymore, motherfucker.
Stay home with Privada, man. Come on. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, I always do.
I know.
I always
do. I'm kidding.
AB, hold on. I'm shrinking. I'm shrinking windows.
That could also be the Aryan Brotherhood. So I don't know if that's which AB you're talking to, because with you it could go either way.
I'm definitely not talking about that one. Jesus, no. Definitely not that. Definitely not.
I'm sure you got a couple
one.
of fans out there that write to you from prison.
Let's see here.
Oh,
Okay, there we go. I
man.
think I'm situated. I was trying to get all my windows situated so I could see everything.
Okay.
Because I can't see the chat when I can see me and you. Because if I watch YouTube, there's like a 5-second lag, so
Yeah.
it's like it'll fuck your brain up watching it. But
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to see the chat. Not that guys in chat.
What are
Thank
we,
you, everybody.
Are we seeing any good comments here yet, or
I haven't really been looking too crazy.
you see
Jeremy,
both feeds? Wow, we see both feeds.
No, I only see people, I guess, because we're streaming this
your
live
feed.
on your channel and my channel,
yes,
right?
Correct.
So I think I'm only seeing the people in that are watching from my side.
Okay,
I would assume.
Cool.
I would assume.
Cool beans, man. So we're here to celebrate. Let's just set this off because people are going to rewatch this later, and they're probably going to want to smoke this live with us. This is the Jeremy Fast Hold Fast Maduro. Habano Robusto. It's a 5x54 box press Habano that was rolled at the factory that we work out of that AJ Fernandez set up for us, called Tabacalera Annex. It is a serious factory doing experimental, progressive things with tobaccos from all over the world. These are things that AJ typically doesn't have enough of for, mainstay products. They're limited run things, and we're just lucky to be there.
Dude, when we were going through the extensive sampling, Brian always jokes every time we do a cigar collaboration. He's like, this is like 100, 200 cigars deep. This fucking guy goes through cigars like nobody's business. But
I always know.
pumped. I was pumped.
I'm sorry to cut you up, but I know when we hit the right one when you keep asking me to resend that one. How many are we at? 50 cigars now? Okay. We'll take that.
Yeah,
we'll add that to the bill.
I don't think it's any real. If anybody and let me just address this. Somebody had said I had a lag, but it says delay in slow motion. Hopefully that's cleared up.
Don't worry.
That shit happens in lives, but hopefully it's not that way now. Let me just address the fact that I have not had any content on this channel in like 6 months.
Wow.
Probably. Yeah, it's been a while. And a couple reasons. One, we got plenty of time because this is live, so I'll explain. One, YouTube makes it extremely difficult to do cigar content these days. You can't monetize it. If you link anything, they take your videos down. They really do not make doing cigar content a warm and fuzzy situation.
Yeah.
So YouTube makes it difficult. And
Hearing you say we have time, that scares me.
he's like, if Jeremy's saying we have time, this is going to be a Joe Rogan link fucking live stream. Like,
This is gonna be a
Brian's like,
3
bitch,
hour
I got to go to bed at like 10:30. So like, we got to
to
shut this
do.
motherfucker down. But yeah, that is part of the reason why. So it does discourage me a little bit when I've got stuff on the main channel that I get paid better for and it gets better views.
This is your living. This is your living.
Right. I mean, this is how I make a living.
You got
and
to do what pays the bills in that case.
Right. And so I can't make any money on the second channel, which I'll never stop doing stuff on the second channel. And actually, I kind of have a plan to do some other stuff on the second channel. So I'm thinking I'll talk about that in a second. But most of my income comes from my main channel that I can monetize because YouTube has now made it impossible for people to make any money doing cigar content. So naturally, when you got a bunch of contracts for people and projects and stuff going, the stuff that's not making any money gets backseated a little bit. So it's partially that and partially just that it's kind of hard to make cigar content these days. And our good folks Privada have been closed until recently. So there hasn't been, I haven't wanted to do any Privada unboxings and be like, hey, look at my Privada unboxing. So, so there's a lot of things that have added up to me not doing stuff.
You're one of those artists that make a living off their art or crafts that understands working close to the dollar, but also still has principle and like a guiding light. It's not just what makes money. It's like, hey, I have to do this because this is what's making money, but at the same time, I'm not going to do that. Like, you're very picky about, and I've always respected that about you. I know the minute you and I did, and I know you've done things for other cigar companies, and I've never, gotten upset about that or anything. But I know that more companies have approached you, and you're very much a vibe dude. You know, if you have that call with someone, you're like me in the sense of you get a good idea of who they are. You know?
I'm a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny. That's why there are some cigar companies that I've worked with in the past that I don't really work with anymore. And that's because I didn't get good vibes from like the way, and I won't say any names because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be rude to other people because, you know, whatever. There's no sense in being an asshole. But there were certain cigar companies that wanted me to be exclusive with them, and they were trying to restrict me and saying,
what kind of asshole would call you knowing our relationship, right? No, but see, that's the thing. These guys it doesn't make sense. If I'm calling someone who I know is already, you know, in cahoots with another person in my industry, I'm showing the person that they're working with already tremendous respect and saying things like, look, I know you're already working with this person, but I get along with that person well, and, you know, we could, I'm sure, you know, there's enough to go around kind of thing. Not, no, I'm going to take you away from that guy. That's right. Yeah. That's the shit. That's the thing. And by the way, any Privada member watching, this is the kind of stuff that happens behind the scenes that I find out about that not everyone finds out about. And it's been part of the, you know, there's a little, I've had some members be like, dude, too much drama. And I'm like, it's not me, man.
You're like, I'm not doing it.
Right.
But no, I didn't like it because I don't feel like I even though I do work with you guys a lot because we're good friends and I think you guys are doing stuff, and you have never once asked me not to do stuff with other companies. Like, because to me, my job as doing a YouTube thing is to give people kind of information on everything that's out there and talk about the different stuff. And if some company's paying me to stay loyal to them, then that's not being very fair because I'm basically shilling for this one brand, right? So the fact that brand asked me to be loyal to them and them alone, it kind of bummed me out. And then it got kind of weird after that.
Mm-hmm. I know who it is without you even telling me. As soon as I heard that
it wasn't
got
a cigar. It wasn't a cigar brand. Like it wasn't AB or anything like that.
Exactly
it was another cigar club, right? Yes. And then they got real weird and kind of like took it real personally and got kind of butthurt. And I was like, you know what, dude? Like I'm kind of out on that.
That is weird. That is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to go to someone that works with Harley Davidson. I'm another motorcycle company, and I'm like, hey, we want you to be exclusive to us. And if you say no, I'm gonna get weird. Like, come on.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on to this because a lot of people want to spark this up right now. So
yes, let's go. Oh, I do have to say hi to my buddy Carl is in the chat. I see, and so is my buddy. Not hot Carl, Carl Murawowski. I think I say his last name wrong. Is it Carl? Is it Murawowski? Is that how you say it? I always fuck his last name up. He's a very nice guy. He's also got a YouTube channel. I met him for the first time.
Scott Murr.
Yeah, I met him for the first time. We went to Texas not too long ago. Great guy. He seems to be in the chat. And then my buddy Isaac is in chat, who has been a long time follower. He also has a YouTube channel, so go check both those guys.
What's up, Isaac?
Very nice guys, both of them.
Okay.
Just wanted to say hi to both those guys.
So listen to this: 5x54 box press, 54 ring gauge, soft box press, like you stated earlier. Although I wouldn't call it a box press, but it is a soft box press. Do you know that a hard box press is called something else? There's a name for it, and it's like a chest or it's almost the name of a piece of furniture press. So it's like a chest press. And it means that it's basically like something was too heavy on, like it happened by accident, and then that's why they named it that.
But one of the things I like about OJ, one of the things I like about AJ is I almost always like his box press, right? He does, it's not a perfectly square box press, more like these Rocky Patels, which I don't mind these, but it's more of a square. AJ does these kind of rectangular box press, and they're soft box press, which is like, to me, the perfect shape. I love them. They fit in your mouth good. That's what she said.
No one rolls. No one rolls like AJ. No one blends like AJ. The guy he's the Michael Jordan. Even when I'm with other people that do every part of the process that he does, and I say he's the best, they're like, yes, he is the best. He is the best. I'm not going to try to take that away from him. I'm here. I do my thing. My stuff's a little different because of this, but yes, AJ, if I had to pick one person, it's AJ. You know?
And if I had to pick one, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, huh? But if I had to pick one cigar to smoke forever, like okay, obviously if you were giving it to me free, it would.
This is a candidate for me. For me, this is a candidate.
This is a great cigar. This really is a great cigar. But probably, if you said all the other cigars are going off the market, which cigar would it be? It would probably be a New World. I love the OG New World Maduro wrapper.
Okay.
I love that cigar.
It's fantastic.
I love it. But
this is a New World with a little more pepper. This is not, when I say it's a New World, it's in that family, right? Because it's blended by the same guy.
Well, it's got the same smoothness that he's got in a lot of his cigars. His cigar have this.
I'm a retro hail guy, and the retro is red hot pepper sauce like all day long. Sometimes habanero. Man. It gets crazy. And what happens is I try not to smoke AJ too much in a row because then nothing else satisfies me because I'm not getting that retro that I'm looking for.
Yeah. I was retroing this a lot the other night when I was smoking another one because I smoked a bunch. But sometimes when I smoke, I'm not really paying super close attention, right? I'm just smoking it to enjoy it. But I knew this live stream was coming up, so I wanted to smoke another one and really pay attention to kind of refamiliarize myself with the notes I'm getting and stuff like that. And I was retrohaling a lot. I don't retrohale as much when I'm not really trying to sample a cigar.
So
if I'm just smoking.
That was one of the things that I had a problem with AJ's stuff in the beginning because he called me one day and was like, hey, man, like through an interpreter. He was like, hey, man, we think you're like the future of this shit if you play your cards right. And by playing your cards right, we mean having the right partnerships. And I didn't even know.
He's like, by playing your cards right, I mean, come down and talk to Daddy AJ.
I didn't get it at the time. I did not get it. I didn't understand what they meant. Now I understand it.
Do you get like, sorry. Do you get a little bit of like raspberry on the foot of this before on the pre-light?
There is. I cut it and lit it already. But I can tell you that just in the first puff, on the tip of my tongue, I got something that was very fruity. I want to say like a lemon. You know when people say there's lemon in coffee, like I'm tasting lemon. That's what I got on the tip of my tongue. So I could see fruits of any kind.
Because and I'm gonna get out the old cigar Bible because I made notes the other night.
How about the fact that every draw is perfect,
dude?
How do you do that?
That
AJ,
is one of the
how do you
things,
do that, AJ? No one else can do that.
It's tough because a lot of times it's a little too loose, a little too firm, like, whatever. AJ nails it with that.
Cigar Bible.
That was the Cigar Bible. I'm trying to think of what I said for the aroma pre-light. I said dusty barn, fall leaves, raspberry jam on the foot. Because I remember somebody was giving me shit one time because I said I get a dusty barn. There you go. Shouldn't wrap that bitch. Somebody was giving me shit one time because I said dusty barn, and they're like, dusty barn? What the fuck is that?
Oh, no, that was that
like,
dude. I remember him. He's actually a nice guy.
Nah, he's a douchebag. Fuck that guy.
Trying to keep the peace here, man.
Dude, anybody that gives somebody shit for like their...
Why are you listening to my reviews and then commenting on them? Just leave me alone.
And it's a subjective thing. I mean,
yeah,
I could have said it smelled like his mom's box, but that would have offended him.
Yeah, if you grow up like eating like one type of food and I've been all over the world eating, come on, why are you going to tell me what I'm tasting?
Well, not to mention, I was raised in the country, so I was around a lot of dusty barns. That fucking guy may have never been in a dusty barn in his life. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this cigar is so fucking good. I'm beside myself. How good this is. Thank you.
Cold
AJ.
draw is good.
So
cold draw is real good. I get like a
I've had
jammy,
guys,
fruity situation.
Jeremy, I'm in the Dominican Republic, a guy who's an OG in our business, and I mean like a legend. And he looks at me and he says, I've seen your stuff. Bunch of bullshit with all these flavors that you're getting. Okay? I've been smoking for 50 years, longer than you've been alive, and I've never tasted lemon or chocolate on it. And I said, oh, really? So you're a neuro fucking surgeon guy? You're a brain surgeon now? You're going to tell me how the olfactory senses work? You may not be creative enough or have an imagination to find these flavors, but we can sit down real quick, and if you've been smoking that long, I'll get you into finding the flavors, and we can talk about it. And we did. We laughed about it, and he was like, I get what you're saying now, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's subjective, right?
As soon as I left, he was like, that fucking gringo.
Well, and it also kind of depends on my mood, what I've eaten, and everything else, because there are times that, and I need to get this thing lit. I'm going to piss a whole bunch of people off. Watch this. Hold on, ready?
Oh, don't do that. Come on, man.
I love getting
You know what I just realized when you did that? That's the sound that starts off Cigar Obsession from Brian Glynn. It's the Zippo, which is weird because he would never use a Zippo.
Well, a lot of Zippos have butane inserts.
Yeah, I've had one of those. Those are great.
I am firmly in camp, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. My AC's on, so it's blowing this motherfucker everywhere.
Look at this beautiful thing.
I am firm. Dude, how good is that, right?
This is going in all my B-roll from now on. I'm a little hot. Let me get this thing off. You like this?
Hold on. I'm a firm believer, and it doesn't matter what you light the cigar with. Just fucking light it.
That's not true.
No one will ever convince me
That's not true.
otherwise.
We can finally have this conversation like live in the right. I've never really listen. Here's the thing, the tobacco, and I want you to understand this. And you're right. You're right in what you say. By the 3 or 4 puffs later, yes,
that's what I mean. Yes, the first couple
gone.
puffs. Yeah, first couple puffs you can taste it.
It sets the tone. And you're talking about something that's very sensitive. These leaves in here, depending on how moist they are, they're going to be very sensitive to any outside aroma. Like barrel aging, we put them in oak and the cigar changes, right? Mm-hmm. So I would never do that. I understand, and I laugh with you, and I I'm on board. I don't think it will change it that much, especially like after the first quarter inch. Yeah, that's gone. Like whatever was in there.
Yeah, dude. There's people that swear.
When you
there's
light
people
with
that
the
say
cedar,
it taints the whole cigar. They're like, it changes the whole cigar and it ruins it.
For 5 puffs, but it does add something psychologically. It's the same thing with Cuban cigars. I light them with cedar, and they're way better like that because you start off with that Nicaraguan thing that Cuban cigar. But anyway, we'll get into it.
I don't know, man. I think I've said it once. I've said it a million times. Just light the fucking thing and move on. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Is it fun to do all the things and light the spills? But here's the thing. Spills impart just as much flavor, right? So
spills aren't good either.
When you light it with a Zippo, you're going to get a little bit of that flavor from the Zippo for like a puff or two. When you light it with a spill, you're going to taste that cedar for a puff or two. So you're still adding a flavor that's not really in the cigar, regardless.
When you're a new cigar smoker or a once in a while cigar smoker, none of these things are an issue for me. Mm-hmm. When you start getting into the craft cigar movement, when you start following the real master blenders, the growers, and you want to taste their expressions, these things that they've made the exact way they made them,
right?
That's when I start saying drop the cedar spills, drop anything else that could influence that, and
light it with the jet butane. There's like no flavor, so forth and so on. I agree.
So I used to never, ever, and when I say I used to, I mean, until maybe my last trip to Costa Rica or the trip to Dominican Republic, I used to only toast the foot. I would never breathe flame through my cigar. I would.
You were doing the jerk off thing with it. Yeah. The fucking jerking the cigar off. Looked like you're jerking a guy off behind you with fucking fucking pterodactyl.
But I. And recently I was just like, all right, just light the fire. I toast for like a second, get it going, and then I light it and I'm done. That's it. There's no odor to this, the flame.
No. Okay, real quick though. Did you go into all the different types of tobacco that are in this cigar? It's a Habano wrapper. You said the size, soft box press, and then I think I got you off on a tangent.
So this is a Habano wrapper that was grown in Jalapa. Okay.
Oh, I love Jalapa.
Which is probably the best wrapper growing region for Nicaragua.
I'm a big fan of Jalapa.
For wrappers.
Yep.
Okay. It's got the best Nicaraguan wrapper on it, which is a beautiful color. You see that thing? Okay.
And
by
man,
the way,
some of these are so good. I mean, they're all very good, but some of these are like impeccable. I mean, it's like it needs to be photographed good. How good the wrapper on some of these are. But anyway, go ahead. So Jalapa Habano wrapper.
He's got a Colombian binder, which he doesn't want to tell me much about. And then the fillers are all from Esteli, from his farms, where he lives, where he grows, where he sees it every day. And
so you said a Colombian binder and then Nicaraguan fillers.
Yeah, the only thing that's not from Nicaragua is the binder.
Which is a Colombian. I don't know that I've ever had a Colombian. Well, I have now because I've smoked a shit ton of these at this point, but I don't know that I've experienced a Colombian wrapper prior to this cigar. Binder. Binder. Now, I said on the pre-light, I got Dusty Barn Fall Leaves Raspberry Jam on the foot.
You're just sticking to the Dusty Barn just to piss this guy off from 3 years ago?
Dusty Barn.
Okay.
Now, on the light up, I got black coffee, sweet cedar, a touch of a nice sweet leather, a little bit of spiciness, pepper on the lips, thick, creamy smoke. That was what I got on the first. What's your vibe?
So this is why AJ's just the best in the game, because that creaminess, that alone, like if another
dude, do you see the smoke? Do you see the? It's like a fucking fog machine.
Every cigar draws perfectly. Every cigar looks great. Even ones with blemishes are like, this is still one of the prettier cigars I've ever smoked. You're talking about creamy ass smoke. You're talking about it's super smooth if you don't retrohale, which is what newbies want or old dudes want, right?
Yep.
And then if you do retro, it's got red pepper that'll knock you off your chair. And
you know what I'll say about this is the nicotine is actually, I'd say medium high in this, because I don't normally I don't feel the nicotine in cigars at all. But if I smoke this one too fast, I start to feel it a little bit, and I'm like,
Can I tell you why?
Why?
Okay, so this is something that I learned. He sort of showed me this, or he did show me this, but I wasn't ready to understand yet. So I went to AJ's place, and I saw how it would be like going to a car factory and going to the Range Rover plant or the Ferrari plant. It's like, okay, this is a cigar factory. Holy shit, I didn't know the processes took this long. I didn't know tobacco took this long. By the way, we talk about whiskey all the time with so much respect. This took 3 years. This is probably 3.5 years before it gets to you.
Because they got to age the tobacco, let it ferment, do all the things.
There's time. You ever see Gary Vee with the time? And so,
can we talk about the burn on this too? You can't see because
we're skipping the things that are so minute, but you're right. Almost one thing, when I left his place after a week of smoking, I don't know, 5 to 8 cigars a day down there, I was like, I didn't have one tunnel or any problems with any of the construction. So it's like, it opened my mind. Then I went to a bunch more factories, and I saw what most factories run like and look like. And it was like going to Rolls Royce and then going down to,
Hugo.
who's the guy in Texas that used to rebuild cars, Brass Monkey or Grass?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like going to that.
No, it wasn't Brass Monkey. What was it? It was
Grease Monkey or
no. Oh fuck, what was it?
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like going to
Gas
Harley.
Monkey. Was it Gas Monkey?
Yeah, Gas Monkey. It's like speaking of monkey, going to Harley and then going to OCC Chopper. Yo, dude, OCC Chopper, mad respect like to what they do, but it's not the same.
It's a mom and pop shop next to a fucking empire.
Yeah, and the problem in this business with mom and pop shops, and we work with plenty of them, okay, is that
because they make some outstanding, like unique stuff that you can't get everywhere.
They care, they see a little more. That's where AJ's superstar powers come out, where he's doing mass production, where he's actually there. He's still there. He's still doing it. He's still in the fields every day. He's still in the factory every day. He's grabbing shit off the line. So anyway, okay, I don't want to turn this into a commercial for AJ, but I love the guy. He's been very welcoming to us. And most importantly, I didn't realize until I went down that this guy's got the best shit because of the creaminess, the construction, the look of the wrapper, the blah, 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 blah.
And
he throws out more cigars than most factories make.
Well, and his consistency is really good, right? Like in a box, and I'm not just saying this because Alec Bradley is in the chat. I don't know if he's still in the chat or not, but AB, they do a good job also. But I've had a lot of other cigars that are oftentimes more expensive than what AJ rolls. And in a box of 20, you get 3 or 4 duds that have like a draw issue or a soft spot in them or something's wrong. With AJ, man, if you have one that has a draw issue or a burn issue in the box, that's a lot.
I never
right? A lot of
them.
times you'll go through a whole box and every single one's a banger. So it's, I will say he has impressive consistency.
He's the Michael Jordan of our game. And thankfully, he saw something in us early, and I'm going to honor that and him for the rest of my career.
Now, can we tell people about the other thing we've got going?
The growing business? No, I'm kidding.
No, the other full-blown
The illegal
situation.
pot grow in Christmas, Florida.
No,
Let me give you the coordinates.
The full-blown, like, the full-blown
Look at
box and all situation we're working on.
You know what I'm drinking out of.
Oh, you're drinking out of one of my glasses.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
You
baby.
didn't even send it to me. Another member sent it to me. Thank you.
I sent you one. I thought I sent you a couple.
Who sent this to me? You know who sent this to me?
I thought I sent you a couple.
The good half of Herfnerders. No, not Herfnerd. The good half of. Oh man, what was their names?
I don't know, but
Phil
dude, I think I sent you like 2 or 3 of them. Are you fucking
Come on,
crazy?
my boy. He's from Massachusetts. He's Armenian. He's a great guy. He's an accountant. I remember everything about a person except their name. And this is my guy, too. Like,
Well, this brings us to a good question a couple people have been asking. What
What's that?
are you guys all drinking tonight pairing with the cigar?
yeah.
Right now, I'm drinking water, and I need to change that. I think I'm actually. I kind of want to try. I had a Scotch malt whiskey. I'm doing kind of like a little barrel selection thing with them, and they sent me a couple bottles to sample to see if I liked either one of these barrels, and I kind of want to.
You should have me up to taste that.
But if it's not good, I think I'm going to go with something easy though.
Hey, do you have the Penelope? I have 3 bottles left. Do you have the Penelope?
No, you never. Hold on
I will send you one of the 3 bottles. I have it right here.
Brian, I can't hear you. Where's my fucking
Martin. What's his first name? Come on, guys. I'm sure someone's gonna put it in the.
I think I'm gonna go here only because I
Ken,
know this is gonna.
my dude, man. Call me up. Email me something.
I think this will go good with that cigar. Have you had this before?
That would pair perfectly with this cigar.
Angel's Envy finished rye.
You know
this
what's
is their
not-
finished rye. So this is a Caribbean cask finished
Ooh.
rye from it, and it's
Even sweeter.
It's finished in rum. It's finished in rum barrels.
I like that.
And it is my wife's favorite rye. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. So I think
I'll
it'll go
tell you
well
what's
with
not pairing with this well.
What's
And
that?
it's weird because I had it in my mind, and usually those are the best pairings. In like 4 hours ago, I was like, "What am I gonna drink with this?" Look, I started with a pale ale with Bell's, which is one of my favorite pale ales. That's not good for most any cigar.
I'm not a huge beer and cigar guy. There's a couple. I like the darkers, your Guinnesses, your stouts, your stuff like that. But like, there's not a lot of other cigars that I'm real big with.
I love beer.
Beer.
I love beer. It's not the best pairing with cigars.
No. It's not. I think
especially
whiskey's
IPA.
low.
But this is like the
IPAs are
most
gross.
expensive bottle that I own. I believe this was gifted to me. It's my most favorite Scotch I've ever had. I expected it to pair extremely well. Now, you see me sipping IPA and the Scotch, so that could be totally my fault. But usually, this is like the best thing for me, Scotch-wise. This is the Signette. It's the most chocolatey Scotch I've ever had. Super expensive.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good. That's a very good. That's an expensive bottle too.
It is. It is. I don't usually have a lot of expensive bottles like that. Most I go is 100, you know, because I feel like I don't know, but it's not pairing that well. I would say most bourbons are going to pair with this. Most American whiskeys are going to pair with this,
especially a sweeter, kind of more syrupy, like maybe a double oaked bourbon or a Caribbean rum cast finished bourbon. Or I tell you what else I bet you would go really good with it is if you ever had this stuff. Have you ever had this?
I can't see it. What is it?
Wait, fuck it.
Is that my guys? Is that my dudes from Barbados?
That's Foursquare.
Yes. Oh, bro, Richard, bro, those guys are amazing. Those guys are amazing.
It's bourbon barrel finished rum, right? If I'm remembering the story correctly, right? Yeah, ex-bourbon cask rum. And dude, it reminds me a lot. It reminds me more of a rum finished bourbon than it does a rum.
So his
like if you gave that to me blind and told me that was a finished bourbon, I would probably believe you.
So I don't have sponsors like you do. I have companies that I kind of get with that I believe in them and they believe in me. And he was one of them. And he's way ahead of the game in rum. He's like the pappy of rum. And the guy is doing genius stuff with very traditional and old stills that he's brought back. He has a white rum that is the funkiest thing. It is the blue cheese of rum. And I forget what it's called. Can you ask Ophelia to bring in a Foursquare? Any one of them will do. That's the right thing to pair with this. So like a really serious rum. Most whiskeys. Look, Jack Daniels to me is the best pairing of all time. I don't.
But a Jack Daniels single barrel proof is especially a damn good bottle of Jack Daniels. My dad was a firm Jack Daniels guy his whole life, and if I'm being honest with you, I could give a shit about the regular old black label Jack Daniels. It's fine, but like it's nothing special to write home about. But their single barrel proofs. It's one of the better bottles out there, dude.
So you know how, and so that's the way that I feel how AJ gets looked at, is that he's so well known, and he wanted to put out cigars that everyone could afford, so that everyone could try his stuff. That it was misinterpreted by the market that we're in. We are, and by the way, Privada members, Jeremy Siers, the people that are probably watching this, we are the tiniest little subset of the tobacco industry, the cigar industry even. We're probably 3% of the whole cigar industry. And so we value things, thank you so much, but we value things that, other people don't. And I lost complete train of thought. Can you close that? I have no idea. I have no idea what the fuck I was saying. It was prolific, though. I swear it was going to be amazing.
You were probably talking about how the majority of the consumer base is not as appreciative of the detailed stuff that like the people that are on here tonight, me, you, people that really geek out about this shit, they love it. A lot of people like.
I remember.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you just want a good cigar and a good glass of whiskey and you don't want to sit there and pick it apart, and just enjoy it, that's absolutely fine.
Or if you're a cab driver and you smoke 10 shitty cigars every day, that's fine. That's up to you.
You smoke
right.
White Owl with some kind of fucking Canadian club
it gets worse
plastic
than that.
bottle of whiskey. It's fine.
But
enjoy what you enjoy.
But what I wanted to say was that he made his cigars so approachable financially that he got hit with this like if another whiskey company made something that tasted like Jack Daniel's, they would be on the top of a mountain screaming about how good their whiskey was.
Dude, my dad loved it. That was his jam, dude. Let me tell you, Brian, if you don't have any of this, do yourself a favor. Get you some of this Angel's Envy Caribbean Cask rye and smoke it with, or drink it with this cigar, because these two are going.
He might have had something to do with that, with the Caribbean Cask.
Foursquare. I talk about this all the time, but are you one of the weird guys like me that like swishes whiskey like fucking mouthwash in your mouth? Oh, dude, I swish it all. I want to coat the whole inside.
I don't swish. I aerate that annoying sound. Hey, could you rinse that out with water? I'm so sorry, man. Dude, William Bronco does so much for me, and like when I have to ask him for like a shitty thing, like, hey, can you pick that up? I'm like, I feel bad.
Bronca. I called him Bianca earlier like a dumbass.
I call him the Bronx.
The Bronx. So, this cigar, we talked about it, opens up, coffee, cedar, sweet, leather, nice and smooth and sweet, little pepper on the lips. Insane smoke production.
If you blended a leather belt whipped cream.
It's creamy for sure.
And yeah, maybe like a coffee bean, like an espresso bean. And then maybe for the upper level, like imagination, there's something, the cedar is there.
The cedar, it's a very sweet cedar, though. It's not that like kind of bitey cedar that you get in some Connecticut's and stuff. This is like a very sweet, creamy cedar.
This is a creamy ash cigar.
And the smoke texture is thick.
I do want, it's super thick. And I do
with
want,
CC.
I do want to, that's how I like it. I do.
Cake.
I do. Yes, please. I'm getting turned on right now. I do want to say that. I forgot what I was going to say again. Fuck, motherfucker!
Dude, it's the 40s, bro. You walk into a room and forget why you walked in there.
I do that
shit all the time, bro. I do that shit all the time.
Yo, I went to Costa Rica and I'm interviewing this dude as soon as we get there, and then finally I'm like, I asked his name 4 times. Finally, I'm like, I don't even fuck. What's your name again? On camera, I'm like, what the fuck is your name again? I can't do this.
Dude, that retro. Sorry, if I interrupt, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just sometimes shit hits me.
Bro,
when I'm,
come on, man.
That retro is. It's weird because it's a smooth, nice retro, but it's got a bite, right? But it's not so aggressive that it like. Because I've retrohaled some cigars and it makes my fucking eyes water. Like it's a lot. This is just enough burn and bite to let you know it's there, but it's also nice.
I forgot to tell you what this amazing knowledge. This is like one of the things that I'm proud of learning and understanding as a non-actual cigar maker, which is you mentioned nicotine level. It does have some nicotine to it.
We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it in this one if I smoke it too fast.
And so, right, especially if you smoke it too fast. And the reason for that is when you retro and you get that beautiful red pepper, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that pepper, whether it's black or red for you.
Little stingy, little pepper.
And I'm addicted to that, okay?
Yeah.
In the retro.
But there's a level of it that's pleasant, and then sometimes it goes too far.
I like it all. Wasabi, baby. Make my eyes water.
Oh, no, dude. When it makes my eyes water,
Gag me with it.
Not too much. Jesus. This just
We're hardcore over here at the Destin household.
Spit in my mouth. Right. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, even better. So that comes from younger tobacco, basically. So there's some tobacco in the fillers that you don't want to ferment completely smooth. If you ferment everything completely smooth, you end up with something that the average today premium cigar smoker, our crowd, finds uneventful.
You end up with a Davidoff.
I didn't want to say that. Yes.
And look, I'm not saying that
there's
in an
nothing wrong with that.
manner.
1 million people, 10 million people love it.
I mean, obviously they are hugely, and I love Davidoffs, but it is there is no bite to a Davidoff. It's a very smooth, easy. There's no. Cheers, my brother.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, my man.
We should take some questions.
We should.
Wow, this is not rum. This is not rum, Jeremy.
I'm telling you, is that Foursquare?
Yeah, this is a different thing. This is the Saga City.
It tastes like bourbon that's been finished in a rum cast. Is what it tastes like to me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The thing that I get on the nose is, do you remember the glue that some kids would huff from like airplanes and shit back in the day?
Oh yeah, like the rubber cement type shit.
Yeah,
It was in a tin. It was in a metal can.
I love that.
And it had the little fucking like dauber in there.
This is 48%, so it's almost 100 proof,
Which
is rare for rum.
Oh, by the way, we went over the first third notes. I'm just going over the cigar Bible because I formatted this specifically to try to, for more advanced people, it had everything they could possibly want to like kind of write down about a cigar. But for newer people, it kind of helps them along their journey of tasting a cigar, right? So I would say for the first third, the body, I say is like a medium.
Medium.
I say flavor is like a medium. And then the finish is like medium long. That's how I rated it. Now, all this is subjective, right? Somebody else could taste this and get something different. But me, that's what I said.
Yeah.
And for anybody new to this, how would you describe, because I've described it to people, but I'm curious to see what your opinion is. Because a lot of people, when they see body, flavor, and finish, they're like, what's the difference? And or body strength. Some people strength gets them fucked up. What's the difference between like body and strength and flavor and finish and all those
So
things?
strength is the nicotine level. It's how powerful the cigar is. And one of the misconceptions amongst the gringos like myself who hire the people that actually make the product to make the product was we would say we want a strong cigar. What we meant was we wanted some pepper, and they took it as we want nicotine. Right?
So that motherfucker like make your blood sugar drop out and you want to puke.
That's all the talk about ligero. Oh, I have it's
double
extra
ligero, triple ligero.
Yeah. That's where the nicotine lives. That's the most potent part of the plant. So those are the top leaves. They got the most sun, the most nutrients, blah, 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 blah. Oftentimes they'll pick different. It's really cool, man. They'll harvest like the bottom of the plant, the seco, and then the velado and ligero will get more of nutrients. They'll come up because there's no leaves down here. Anyway, it's a very interesting situation growing tobacco, man, and it's fascinating. I find it fascinating, and I love passing this information on to you guys. But one of the things that I realized was in the factories that make the cigars that I love, there's a lot of ammonia. There is a lot of ammonia. And when I've asked about that, they said, listen, if you want the fuller body, so strength is nicotine, body is how it's on the palate. Now,
how it like feels. It's to me, the body, it's almost like comparing, it's hard to explain it. I have a hard time sometimes.
I get caramel out of the body. It's almost like I put a caramel in my mouth every time I puff this thing.
Right.
It makes you water in the right places, which can go to a lemon kind of thing. But to me,
the body's almost like the density of it, right? Like, is that a good way to describe it?
The body is to me is the flavor, right? So what do we do? What was our scoring system? We used it's body, strength, flavor.
See, I did body, flavor, finish because to me, the body is more the texture, right? It's like the texture of the cigar, the thickness and density and all that. And then the flavor is like, is it full flavor, super light, where it's almost like air, or what's going on there? And then the finish is how long can you taste that after you're done puffing on the cigar, right?
So what I love about AJ stuff is and it's not just AJ stuff. A good cigar that's full of body can be full of body for any smoker. And what I mean by this is if you can't retro, this is a sweet, leathery, creamy, smooth cigar. The second you open up those sinuses, You're getting that wasabi pepper, you know. Yeah, it's amazing. And so I retro on every single fucking puff.
Because when you're puffing on it, if you don't retro, you would think, man, this is, like you said, it's very smooth, it's sweet, it's got some nice sweet cedar, creamy, and then you retro and it gives you a little smack and you're like, oh, there's a little something in there. Okay.
Yeah.
We got some questions coming in.
Yeah, let's get some questions. That's cool.
Yeah, shoot a question, because after that I want to go over
This
my
is the
second,
perfect
third
pairing.
notes, 'cause
A
we're
hot
second,
rum.
third.
A hot rum with this is, wow. Holy
I
shit.
would also think that this and this rum also, right? This is a rum finished bourbon, so same thing. The sweet, dark, sugary notes in like a rum finished bourbon or a rum, I think goes really well with this cigar.
Alrighty. So this is a question that we actually got from two people in two separate chats. Smoke and Oak and Tyler Rapicelli want to know, what was that thing Jeremy was talking about earlier, that big thing you guys are doing together?
Me and Brian, do you want to? Is it okay to talk about the fact that we're working on like a brand? Okay, so you got to, yeah.
This isn't a finished product.
No, but we put these out because we didn't want to go too long without giving you guys another signature cigar,
Correct.
so to speak. But the long term is to come out with a full blown cigar brand with boxes and custom labels and all the things.
If
and
I
be able
may,
to buy it in boxes.
If I may.
Yes,
you will walk into your boring ass brick and mortar shop and you will be able to buy this in every brick and mortar shop within the next 24 months. Except it will be this blend, but in a 6x54, not a 5x54. So the Robusto is a short term. We're also going to have some other wrapper options. And to me, there's
do a broadleaf.
There's no one else. Yeah, 100%. There's no one else that deserves to have their own brand quite as much as Jeremy Siers, because he can do the most with it. He can do a lot for adding people to cigar culture, for bringing positive, like-minded people into the game, and that's really important to me. And so I'm behind Jeremy full force. Now, we have a lot of nice foiling on here, but there's not enough yet. That beard, I think, needs to be gold foiled.
Yeah, we need to. But we've tweaked it. We've gone through a couple iterations of the box.
It ain't easy.
It's getting better. It's getting better, but it's not there yet.
It's not easy making this stuff, man. It's not easy.
I think it'll be cool, though, man. I'm excited about it. And once we get a dedicated line, then we can take the blend. We can maybe tweak it, do a broadleaf version of it. We can maybe do, a couple different versions, couple different sizes, like a lot of brands
We can just
do.
keep going forever. My goal is to build relationships with all the best cigar manufacturers in the world, which is why we travel to these destinations and film them, to make them feel good, to make them understand that they're appreciated. And it allows us to get their best stuff. Who are they going to give it to? Some big corporation that's soulless, that just cares about the numbers? Or the guy that came there, filmed them, made them feel good, had a great time with them, and has a familial, a family-type bond with them?
And not to mention is genuinely into the cigar game, not just there for the money, right? Like I've forgotten about more cigars than most people have smoked, right? Sure. I'm a 3 to 5 cigar a day guy. I mean, I smoke cigars. I love cigars, which I think is important, because I think some people get into different things. Like, you get these celebrity cigars or celebrity whiskeys, and sometimes the person's passionate about it, and that's great. Other times it's a cash grab, and that always pisses me off.
So
it's like,
you just mentioned something that's so important to me, is like cigars are like the last real thing in my mind. I know there's other things that are like this, maybe coffee or something, maybe not though. Celebrity stuff sells worse than regular stuff, because there's no authenticity in it.
Right, because a lot of them, it's like they just have somebody pick it out, they put their name on it, and they're like, yeah, this is my thing. Like, when we do this, we go through sample after sample, and we tweak it, and we do it like, you should, if you don't care about it and you're not involved in the process, you shouldn't put your fucking name on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's fine. Whatever. But I don't like the cash grabs. It kind of irritates me a little bit.
It irritates all of us.
Yeah.
It has no place in cigars, and it's cigar culture, premium cigar culture, craft cigar culture, the movement that we've all been a part of. It has no room I've had celebrities approach us wanting to do things, and I've felt that it might water down my authenticity and have chosen not to do those things. The few football players that I might work with, we have a lot of NFL players. We have some baseball players. We have NHL players. Like, I've never tried to exploit them. There's only one that's come because he loves cigars, and I love hanging out with him, and he's local and, that kind of thing. But
well, and by the way, that just goes to show you, and I don't want to get too much into this side of it because I don't know how YouTube feels about it, and I don't want people to think I'm trying to give medical advice because I'm not. But that just goes to show you, if all these high-level elite athletes smoke cigars, they can't be that bad.
So I used to be afraid, and we've talked about this. We're both neurotic health-wise. And I used to almost reserve myself from retrohaling because I'm like, I'm putting smoke through my sinuses. That can't be good. And
oh, dude, me and you both have some form of cancer once a month. We joke around about it. We're both
Don't
hypochondriacs.
say the word. Don't say the word.
We're both hypochondriacs.
It's Beetlejuice. Do not say that. And so what happened was two things. One, I've hosted over the last 5 years 30,000 different cigar smokers. So we've had 30,000 people come through the club. Two, I've gone to the factories. I've sat with the owners. These are people that smoke 8 to 10 cigars a day. There's no time of the day other than when they're sleeping that they don't have a cigar in their mouth. And they're all just fine. Dr. Gabby Caffey did a study on the top 10 brands and the owners of those brands, and all of them died 10 years past the average American expectancy, which is in their 80s. They all died between 80 and 90. And the average American expectancy is actually in your 70s, which makes me a little sad because my dad's in his 70s. And I know your father, passed recently, RIP. So, that's upsetting to me that a guy can live in a third world country and breathe smoke all day and live longer than the average American. That's weird.
I think that has a lot to do with our diet, not with what we're doing.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I have studied this. Everyone knows I answer emails, and I've gotten, I don't know, half of those people are still here, half of them aren't. So let's just say like 12,000 people canceled their membership. A few of them have cited health reasons. And I always investigate that. Normally, it's obesity related. The few times that it was tobacco related, it was people that smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day plus smoked cigars. So and
to clear that up real quick, because I've had people ask me this. You're not supposed to inhale a cigar.
No.
People, anybody out there, you're not supposed to inhale a cigar. If you're inhaling them, that's not good. Like that's not good for you. Like, look, I'm not going to sit here. And try to
but
pretend
listen.
Like
so burley tobacco that they're growing for cigarettes or pipe tobacco or whatever, they're adding chemicals to this. Cigarettes were illegal in what I call illegal. They were adding 150 chemicals to these things to make them burn faster, to make them more addictive, to make it blah, 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 blah.
And the paper. These are wrapped with more cigar leaf. Those are wrapped with paper that's been chemically bleached and all kinds of weird shit.
And these tobaccos have been, when they come from the right place, have been fermented for years to get out any toxic this or that, to get out any of the fertilizer that might have been in the soil, to get out any. And so that's really important. I've tested tobacco, Jeremy, from 3 different countries, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Dominican Republic. I've tested them as inhalables at marijuana labs, and we're really good. The highest level of anything that was triggering was cadmium. We have higher levels of cadmium in coffee, dark chocolate, and cigarettes.
Speaking of, that's one of my favorites, man, is to put a little square of dark chocolate in my mouth and let that melt while I'm smoking a cigar. Woo, son, get after it. Dude, have I ever told you one of my little favorite things that I like to do with cigars with the right cigar? It's delicious. If you haven't done it, you should try it. Get a stout, like a Guinness, some kind of stout, right? Doesn't matter. It had to be a chocolate stout, milk stout, whatever, a stout. Get some chocolate-covered espresso beans. pop a chocolate cover espresso bean in there, chew it up a little bit, take a swig of the stout, and then a puff of the cigar. Dude, fucking heaven, bro. It's all the things. It's all the things that go well with a cigar, man. It is fucking gorgeous.
Coming back from Costa Rica at the airport, Costa Rica prides itself in its chocolate and coffee, obviously. And we got espresso beans, chocolate covered. And I had 2 samples, white and dark. And Santana told me he was back in Costa Rica, and I was like, you gotta bring me back those espresso, and he did, thankfully. Thank you, Santana.
Delicious, man. You gotta watch out. You eat too many of those things, man. You won't sleep for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did not sleep the first night very well.
Yeah, did you? Because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah,
you're not drinking coffee. You're just eating them, and then you're like fucking
Yeah. My melatonin wore off by like 1 a.m. and I was like up all night. So yeah.
So real quick, because we're quickly getting through the second, third, and I want to go over it. For me, second, third, the body came up a tick, so it's like a medium full to me at this point.
I
still
get that
more
iced tea, that like peach iced tea kind of vibe.
Yeah, little herbal tea kind of thing.
Sure.
The flavor went up a tick, and the finish went up a tick. So, and this happens to me with a lot of cigars. By the time you get into the meat of cigar, usually they bump up just a little bit for me. Note-wise, I'm still getting that sweet leather, cedar, black pepper. I get in this one, sometimes I get like this earthy, sweet mustiness that you get from like aged tobacco, and I don't think there's any aged tobacco in this that I know of.
Sure there is. Of course there is.
Is there? But it's 100%. That kind of musty, sweet kind of thing you get in more aged cigars.
Bro, this guy ages, he's got over 30 to 50 from what I counted, fermentation and curing barns. So the curing barns, it looked to me like he had like 20 to 30, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. And then the fermentation, he's gone from what I saw of like 15 to like 30. They were in process of building. They sit on tobacco for years. And it's crazy because, Jeremy, you don't just put it in the pilons, in the piles, to ferment them and then leave them there. You have to check them every 3 hours of the working day for temperature. And once they get too hot, you have to undo them and redo them all over again.
Well, because it's like a compost pile, right? You'll like burn up the shit and it'll get weird and like maybe decay it or overcook it or whatever. So anyway, and the other thing I'm getting a little bit of in this meat, the middle of the cigar that I didn't get in the first third, is I'm getting like a little bit of a like a creamy toasted pecan occasionally.
I could see that.
Like a little nutty.
So let me.
It's a creamy.
Nutty for
There's
sure.
a lot of creamy flavors.
So let me go over what I'm getting. Okay.
Okay, you hit it.
All right.
Stage is yours.
We have this sweet cedar that is just to die for.
It's great.
I also, it lends itself to like a dried apricot flavor. It's creamy, like cashew creaminess. Okay. Right. It's there is when you eat sushi, the rice has like a little rice wine vinegar kind of thing in it. There's like a little bit of that tang, which could also be like lemon. There is a little bit of a dark chocolate bitter that's perfect. It's not too much. It's not overbearing. The leather is there. In the retrohale, the red pepper turned to black pepper, which is still strong enough. And it's just, it envelops the entire palate, man. This cigar is a masterpiece to me, man.
The thing that gets me about this cigar is the creaminess of it. It is a very creamy cigar. So like, I feel kind of redundant, but it's like every one of my notes I wrote, I'm like, creamy sweet leather, creamy cedar, creamy earthy mustiness, creamy toasted pecans.
You mentioned raspberry though in the beginning on the cold drop.
And the cold drop, I'm not getting it as much in the cigar.
No, but you know that thing that raspberry does to your tongue, that like pop rocks kind of thing? That
little
tanginess,
tingly kind of,
effervescent. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What's up? Do we have more questions?
We have a whole bunch.
Let's hear them.
Shoot.
Alrighty. Jeremy, this is for you from Zach. Would you ever consider doing a barrel pick that is paired with a cigar?
Well, funny you ask. The last barrel pick I did took a big dump, and it kind of pissed me off because
why?
I did a barrel pick with Woodford for double oaked.
Wow.
They sent me the samples. They sent me the sample bottles. I picked the sample. I did a live stream, and we went over the different samples, and we kind of picked one or whatever. And then they had a bottle shortage not too long after that, so they started hemming and hawing about the barrel pick. This was right a little bit after COVID when a lot of companies were having shortages. They started hemming and hawing about the bottle shortages, and the barrel pick thing had been, all the barrel picks had kind of been put on hold until they got more bottles and blah, blah, blah. And then they just started kind of ghosting me, man. Like I would call to be like, hey, what's the fucking status of this? Like I picked it and like I just kept getting beat around the bush, and it's been like a year and they still haven't ever given me the damn thing. So I don't know what happened with that. But so that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But I'm like I said, I'm doing some barrel stuff with Scotch malt right now. With some barrel picks, and I talked to Brian about potentially doing some kind of cigar when we do that pick. So I don't know. Yes,
get me the barrels. We'll age them in the barrels, and it's done. Oh my God, it's crazy.
I think it would be cool to. Well, I think it would be cool to do. You would have to be careful how you did it, right? And we have to be careful with what we talk about on YouTube because they don't want you, talking about sales directly. But it would be cool, I think, to somehow release a cigar that's meant to be paired with the bottle. However, the bottle has to come from Scotch malt because of liquor licenses and whatnot, and then the cigar would have to come from Brian. So I don't know how we could link that up to where it works, but I think it would be cool to get a cigar that that paired well with that, and then kind of sell it as like a bundle kind of thing. I think that would be cool.
Love it.
Awesome. From James Martins. Are we ever going to see a merchandise collab between Privada and Jeremy Siers?
Never thought about that.
Dude, we talked about it once, like a long time ago when I first started working with Exclusive. We had talked about, if you might not remember because, well, we talk about a lot of stuff. We talked about doing a leather, like cigar, I don't know what you would call it. Like it would be something you take with you. It's leather. You open it up. It's got a plate, maybe a cedar liner in it for you to put 3 or 4 cigars, maybe a place to hold a whiskey flask, a place for your cigar cutter. And then, you zip it up and it's like a little, I don't know, what would you call it? Like a little cigar carrier or whatever. Attaché, I don't know. Yeah. Like a little thing that, like, if you're going out for the night or going over to a buddy's house, you take your flask, you take 2 or 3 cigars, your cutter, your lighter, it all goes. Get it in a real nice leather thing, all bouged up with like a cedar liner.
Put it under the spare when you drive home.
Definitely not. But I think that would be a cool, because I do a lot of cigar related merch with Exclusive. Hence these scissors we've been working on for like a fucking year. This cigar,
scissor me, Aaron.
This cigar dagger, poker, nubber, whatever you want to call it, that I've been working on for a damn near a year. So I do a lot of cigar related stuff. So it would be great to and easy to incorporate you in one of them and work on something together.
Bro,
it could be fun.
My thing is the Hold Fast brand in every fucking store across the country.
Mm-hmm. And then we got to do a cutter to go with it. We could do some merch along with that. Who knows? All of that stuff. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I think there is definitely room for it, and I think it's just finding the right project that makes the most sense, that we're both passionate about, that works with both audiences very well, right? Which honestly, if it works well with my audience, it's probably going to work well with his audience because we have a lot of the same people. So
yeah.
So short answer, yes.
Awesome. That rolls right into another question from Tony Poiles.
My man, Poiles.
What is the backstory?
That's Privada royalty right there.
What's the backstory on the Hold Fast cigar brand?
What is that? I'm going to let you answer that, and I'm going to just use the restroom real quick.
Go to it, man. The Hold Fast thing, it's just kind of when you're trying to think of something that is kind of your brand or that kind of goes along with your ideologies or whatnot. If you haven't noticed, I've got Hold Fast tattooed on my knuckles. And I wasn't in the military. It's a very popular military term. It's a nautical thing that is pretty big in the Navy, if I'm remembering correctly. And they use it for slightly different reasons, like Hold Fast. But with my thing, Hold Fast is always just kind of like a mentality that I have to, whether it's your beliefs or whatever in life, hold fast, right? So if times are tough, hold fast, get through it. Hold fast to your beliefs, hold fast to what you believe in life, and muscle through, right? So it's just kind of something that I've always thought, ideology that I live my life by. So it made sense to, like, when you're trying to come up with something with a brand, you tie it to something that is synonymous with you, and that is something synonymous with me. So we tied it to the cigar.
Awesome. Jeremy, I have another question for you from, I apologize if I butcher anybody's names, Huevo de la Cuevas. Jeremy, when will you be continuing the Leaf and Barrel series? It was my favorite thing to watch on the way to work and on my way back. I can't stop. I can't wait to pick up this cigar.
Nice. I will do more of them. Like I said, I don't know if you weren't here in the beginning of the stream, YouTube has made it slightly more difficult for me to do cigar content just because they're not big fans of it, and they make it impossible for me to monetize. And because I do YouTube for a living, anything that takes up a lot of my time that makes me zero money is hard for me to do. But I am passionate about cigars. It's one of my huge hobbies that I enjoy, so I'll never stop doing it. But it was something I slowed down on a little bit because of the way YouTube kind of cracked down on the cigar stuff. But I will continue to do it. It will be stuff coming in the future. We will do more Leaf and Barrels. It's not dead. It's just kind of on hold a little bit for a while. This year, I plan on kind of rebooting the second channel a little bit, doing more cigar content again. And I think the second channel is going to kind of embody everything that's hobbies of mine that aren't particularly YouTube friendly. So that was kind of the thought of that channel to begin with. And I think this year I'm going to really try to bump that up a little bit. So I think I'm also going to start including gun content on that channel, or pew pew content, as we say on the YouTubes.
I'm waiting for that.
So I think it's going to be a lot of gun content and cigar stuff on the second channel. After Hours is going to be that. So yes, there will be more stuff. The Leaf and Barrel stuff will come back around as a long-winded answer to your question. Somebody said Florida hurricane season, hold fast. No shit, ain't that the truth? Every fucking year.
All right, Brian from BC, are tickets live yet for Privada Con 2?
No, tickets will be live for Privada Con 2 within 30 days.
When is Privada Con 2?
2024 February.
I really need to try to make it down to this one.
Oh, no, you're going to have to be there. There's going to be a bunch of people who actually grow, roll, and ferment tobacco. Like, the best people behind the scenes are going to be there. You got to be there. You got to be there.
Gotcha. Last year I wanted to be there, but I think it hit on a day that
I'll send you car service for you and your wife.
No, it's not that. I think last year it hit on a day that, like, I already had something planned.
You might even be able to bring your kids to this one. I think it's going to be Camp Privada.
I don't know, man.
No, I think they'd be able to, like, chill at the glamping situation or the camping situation or the hotel, and you'll be, I think it's going to be. So when we first did Privada Con, people started buying tickets for their wives, and I was like, guys, if your wife doesn't smoke, she's going to be bored as shit at this thing. Then we had Privada Con, and the wives that did show up were like, this was amazing. It was so nice to see my husband in the environment that he wants to be in, and I get it now. They were trying cigar. Like, it was really good for people's marriages, I guess, in a way. And so that was awesome for me to see, and it was a big eye-opener, and it made me kick myself in the ass for saying, oh, like, why would you bring your wife, But,
yeah. My kids, I probably won't bring, just because I don't. Stuff like that I know I'm going to be busy. When I take my kids to stuff, I really like to spend a lot of time with them. And with that, I feel like I would be talking to a lot of people, talking to people that are fans of the channel and stuff, and talking to industry people and stuff. Yeah. And I don't want to bring them along and then neglect them the whole time they're there.
Sure.
So it would probably be something that I would just bring the wife. Me and her would probably come down and do it. I'd probably leave the kids at home. But yeah, I don't remember. Just don't schedule it on, like, June 2nd?
I believe it's going to be like February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, or 2nd through the 4th.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
That would be perfectly fit. As long as it's not. I want to say last year it was on one of my kids' birthdays. I think that's what it was. I think it was on one of my kids' birthdays, and I was going to try to, like, come down after the party, but then it was like it was going to be late, and it was like a pain in the ass. Because wasn't it like in June last year?
When was it? November.
Okay, so that wasn't it. There was something.
No, you just don't like leaving the house.
That's not true. I came down to see you that one time.
That's that one time.
And I just got back from Texas not a couple months ago.
I can't
drove
believe
all the
you
way to
went
fucking Texas.
You drove. You didn't fly.
Fuck flying, dude. I don't like flying.
I'm
Here's the
afraid
thing.
of flying too.
I'm not afraid of flying. I just don't like it, right?
I'm afraid of flying, but I do it anyway.
I might have a thing because this barrel pick that we're talking about with Scotch malt, I might be having to go to Scotland to do it, and doing like a tour of the facility and doing a whole thing. I might be doing a whole series of videos on it and stuff like that, which will be pretty cool.
You're gonna need a cameraman for that.
I am. Well, that's why I was thinking about taquitos, but then he's I don't know.
No, I mean, of course, I'll talk to him.
He's
open to work.
If that works out, it's early stages, so we don't know what their budget is. Because I told them, like, if I do something like that, I'm going to have to bring a cameraman. I can't be doing the camera work. And anyway.
My budgets for companies wanting to work with me is gone. It's gotten very unrealistic.
You've got a rider.
I know. I got this one.
You want a
I got
bowl
this
of
idea
M&Ms
that
and
I
shit?
need to have. We need to. So Lamborghini. I'll just preface it with that. Lamborghini.
Jesus.
Lamborghini
motherfucker
has
just said
this new. They're calling it their last gas-powered car. It is an off-road Lamborghini. It looks like a Lamborghini, except it's raised up and it's got off-road tires on it and it's got racing shit all over it. And so I'm trying to convince a cigar company that we need to buy one of these, put our logos all over it, and send it to all the cigar events across the country.
Jesus.
So that's my
an
goal.
endeavor.
I don't know if it's going to happen. We might have to wait a few years until I can afford to do it on my own.
But I don't like flying. I will do it if I have to. Like, obviously, if I go to Scotland, I'll get on a plane. But, like, if I can drive it, I would rather drive.
100%.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So, I drove. We
flying.
stopped in Louisiana.
Oh.
And broke the trip up on the way there.
Yeah,
on the
that's
way
the,
home,
that's the spot. Yeah.
On the way home, we drove straight.
Bro.
We'd made it in 14 hours from here to Austin.
There's a YouTube channel with a dude. He's got like a balding head, shaved head, but he doesn't always shave it. It's kind of scraggly. He was like the 30th employee at Facebook. He's a big YouTuber. He wears like a dangling earring now. And he's very cool. He interviews nothing but billionaires on his channel. Okay. And he had this whole shtick where he went to a private airport in Austin and he tried to get on people's private planes and ask them how they became billionaires, right?
Right.
Okay. So no one wants to talk to him. A few people talk to him. He's leaving. Finally, this dude shows up. He's like big, like ex-military dude, kind of a stud kind of guy. And he's like, I'm going to Boston. You want to fly with me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he gets on this guy's plane. Now, everyone else's plane cost $5 to $8 million. This guy's plane was a $35 million plane.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to say it was like a $10,000 fucking puddle hopper.
The title of the video was Billionaire Talks About How He Got All His Money kind of thing. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I didn't like the interview. The 1,500 people that commented on the video loved the interview. They loved how down to earth this guy was. As an entrepreneur that's reached a certain level, I was listening to his answers wondering how this guy made his money, because none of this sounds like things that I would say. I'm not a billionaire though. Okay.
Right.
So that happened. For some reason, the video affected me in that way. I was like, I can't believe, I was reading the comments and I'm like, I can't believe, I don't know that this guy's, I recognize him from somewhere. I don't know where I recognize him from, blah, 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 blah. My wife and I went up to New England, to New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine for winter break. And oh my God, it is so beautiful up there. I'm such a big fan of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Portland, Maine. I'm in love with that area. We will be back.
I've never been up that way.
Oh my God, Jeremy, it is just pristine. So, and this is after.
I'm a big fan of Texas. I'll tell you that much.
This is after coming back from Costa Rica. I love Texas too, but this is after coming back from Costa Rica, and I thought it was just breathtakingly beautiful.
You know the problem I might have with Maine? I think they're a little too restrictive on the gun situation up there.
I was just visiting. I wasn't checking the place out to live there, but I would definitely have a retirement home there. So, long story short, we fly home, worst flight ever. We get off the flight, and I'm like, was that the worst flight ever? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, we got thrown around back in. No one, like, I was like, okay, maybe it's just me. So we get off the flight, and we're in Delta, and Delta in Orlando is the busiest section of the airport. We get off. It looks like like the day before Christmas in this place. Everyone's there. Everyone's there with their entire family. It is jam-packed. You can't sit. It was crazy. So we're getting off. And who do I fucking see? And I can't tell you how much this bothered me. I see the billionaire sitting, waiting for his coach fucking flight on Delta.
And you're like, what?
And I stop, and I say to my wife, and I say it loud enough so you can hear me. I say, you see that guy right there in the white T-shirt? That's the dude that was saying he's a fucking billionaire and owns a $35 million plane. YouTube sucks. And he gave me like the dirtiest look. He could probably take me. I don't know for sure. But he didn't like it. I didn't like it. And then for the next 2 or 3 days, I was very upset. Like, is the shit that I'm watching fake? It just killed me.
Well, you know, and that's part of, well, I mean, that's a whole nother thing we could do on the podcast. By the way, all you guys that are in the live, if you're not checking out the podcast, me and Brian started.
Local Social Pub.
Local
Look it
Social
up.
Pub.
Subscribe,
Definitely go check it
please.
But yeah, there's a whole thing to be said about social media and how it's basically highlight reels, and it makes everybody's life look. There it is. It makes everybody's life looks like it's this ultra awesome thing, and then it makes other people depressed because they're like, well, my life isn't that cool. And it's like, yeah, man, but their life isn't that cool either.
Right.
It's just that they're only showing you the cool bits.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
that's
a weird thing.
That's something that with Privada, it's like I've been very sensitive to, because Privada is built by its community. And thank you guys. Like, I can't get to the best cigars and the best manufacturers if we don't chip in every month and do the subscription, right? And so I try to shield my happy-go-lucky members from the stress of the day-to-day. Once in a while, I vent, but I've been very cautious about that because I don't want to look like, oh, woe is me. I have the best job in the world. To my members, I have a dream job, right? I get to work with you. I get to make cigars. I get to go to these places and film videos and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of stress in the details. And so I try not to show that. And so to someone just watching the videos and looking at the Instagram, yeah, it probably looks like it's all just fucking shits and giggles. And it's not, you know. There's a lot of people that have to keep happy.
To understand that. It's the same thing with YouTube people. It's like all you see is the cool shit. You don't see the day-to-day grind, setting up all the cameras, the fucking frustration of things, right? And I think that's important for people to understand. Like, people are like, oh, everybody's life is great. My life sucks. No, everybody's life has problems, right? It's just on social media, you're getting the highlight reels.
I would say the more successful you are, the more stress is behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
Like Logan
definitely.
Paul and these guys, Joe Rogan. Dude, they can pretend on camera when they're high and having a drink like it's all awesome. But there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people that need to be hired. There's a lot of times where an entrepreneur in a successful business says to themselves, I didn't sign up for this.
Right. I'm debating on if I want to do another pour of that same whiskey or if I want to go something different.
I'm cutting myself off.
How long has this live been going? How long are we at?
Bronx? Roughly, we're at an hour and a half. So we're going to end it probably in the next 20, 30 minutes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because I'm getting low on my cigar. That's not to say I can't light another one, but I'm debating on if I want to have another pour or not. And what do I want to have with it?
Yeah,
maybe I'll try one of these. Maybe I'll try one of these.
I just got the nutty thing.
I feel like one of these might fuck with the cigar a little bit. What is that? This is one of the barrel, the bottles from the barrels that Scotch Malt was sending me. This is
Scotch wasn't great for me with this. I thought it was going to be amazing, and it wasn't. I would say anything in that American whiskey kind of realm is going to be good. Rye.
Awesome. What's hot?
Yeah. See, this is a peated Highland Scotch. So I don't know that the peated stuff
I wouldn't do that. No.
Bianca, Bronx, do we have any more questions while I almost call him Bianca?
Hey,
again.
Bianca. I need a Bianca pie right now.
I'm sorry, bro.
All my Northeasterners, I need some Bianca clam pie right now.
Well, we got a whole bunch of questions.
Okay, shoot.
Nick's Niche asked, Jeremy, I'll be up in St. Augustine for a golf trip coming up. Any recommendations for a brick and mortar that's a must visit?
Yeah, Jeremy's house.
Well, I tell you, a cool place to visit, and it's not because they have an outstanding cigar selection. They have a decent, it's okay. It's the atmosphere, though.
Is this the woman?
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to think of what the name of the place is.
She's been there forever, right?
She's been there forever. It's right off St. George Street in downtown St. Augustine.
Love it.
It's a little Cuban lady that owns this little, and it's on St. George Street. She's got a little patio out front. You can go in there, get a cigar. They make traditional Cuban coffees.
Nice.
So you can go in there, you can get a traditional Cuban coffee. You get a cigar. You go out on the patio. You sit on St. George Street on the patio with your Cuban coffee and your cigar, and it's a fucking on a nice day. It's one of the best experiences you can possibly have. Not because
St. Augustine.
Not because the brick and mortar is the most outstanding selection or anything, but the overall experience is really fun.
Every time I go to St. Augustine, I'm like, why don't all of the wealthiest people in the world live here? This is such an amazing. Like, I'm shocked that it's not exclusive. Like it's like Santa Barbara. Like, it's special. You know what I mean?
It's a cool place. What is the name of that place? Oh God, what is the name of it? I forget it too. It's right there. But anyway, that would be my suggestion. It's one of my favorite places to go and smoke cigars in St. Augustine. It's right there on St. George Street. Cuban coffee, cigar, patio. Bob's your uncle. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Question coming in from Jason Castro.
My man.
Jeremy, what is your top 5 Privada cigars that you'd recommend to other Privada members?
Well, I mean, Privada cigars, meaning like the stuff that comes out in the monthly boxes. 'Cause, I mean, it's different every month.
Anything. Any standouts in your mind?
The old school. I don't even know if you guys have them anymore. It was the one that was just like chocolate cake. What the hell was it called?
Hot chocolate cake.
No.
From HVC?
No.
Oh, the old school Good Life.
Yeah, dude, that fucking thing was a hitter, bro. Hitter. Hitter. That was such a good cigar. Another one that I really enjoyed with coffee was the Uncle Paulie, man. I'm not even a Connecticut guy really, but that was such a good cigar.
So good.
So the Uncle Paulie was really good. The old school Good Life was really good. That was a J.C. Newman cigar, wasn't it? Wasn't that who blended the yeah.
Ochi Blanco did Uncle Paulie, and JC did Good Life.
There's a couple Paul Stulacs that you guys have done that have
Red
been really
Screaming Sun. I know you love that one.
Yeah, outstanding. So yeah, I mean that's just a few off the top of my head that have been some of my all-time favorites. What was the one? There was a Lancero that you guys had not too long ago that was really, really good. I can't remember what it is.
We've had so many.
The thing with Privada is it's hard because you guys have so many different cigars all the time.
Many.
It's not like, it's a constant stock of things that, you smoke over and over. It's like you get these bangers, you have them one time, and you're like, man, that was delicious, and then it's gone, right? Which is what makes Privada special, right?
Yeah. The other cigar companies come to me, they're like, we put out 1, maybe 2 new things a year. You do like 7 a month. Like, how the fuck are you doing this?
Right. I think this might be good, too. Hold on. Oh, goddamn.
Any other questions? Yeah. Any questions for me?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Hold
Brian
on.
from Lovecraft Studios, have you found somewhere for Privada Con 2 yet?
Okay, I'm back.
I haven't found the exact venue, but I'm getting very, 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 very close. That's why I'm calling it Camp Privada. We wanted to do it at a resort, but resorts, it's going to be a different kind of resort. Let's put it that way.
Another question for you, Brian.
My man Derek, what up?
From
Russell Reserve Private Barrel Select. Sorry, I was just telling you.
That sounds good.
From Paul
Russell
M.
Reserve is damn good.
Brian, does Privada ship to Canada?
Who wrote that?
Paul M. asks, does Privada ship to Canada, specifically Quebec?
Okay, so we are at the 95-yard line on Canada to where the chief will be able to subscribe you to Privada through Paul Stulak. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, the chief. Our first test run went pretty well. And if you want to speed the process up, call up the chief and tell him you want Privada. But it's going to happen within the next month or two.
That is substantially hotter than that Angel's Envy. Woo, that one's got some bite on it. It's good though.
All right, from Long Ash Lucas, he asks, what is your guys' all-time favorite cigar and bourbon pairing?
Woo, man, these are hard questions. Just because there's so many.
It's whatever I'm drinking and smoking at the time.
I mean, with me, that's almost the answer. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but it's like, man, I've had so many good combos.
Yeah, it's too many.
That it's tough. Because every time I think I've had the best one, then another good one rolls in, and I'm like, oh, I tell you what, that fucking, not trying to promote it because we're talking about the one, but that Angel's Envy Caribbean cask with this Holdfast is a fucking contender, boy. That was a good pairing. I really enjoyed that. And now with this, and this is one of my favorite bourbons, this Russell Reserve. It's very good, but it's not going with this cigar near as good as that Caribbean cask did. That Caribbean cask was... The flavors were all doing happy things, man. There's like a synergy that happens sometimes where everything just fucking lines up, and that was a good one. Honestly, some of my favorite cigar pairings, I love them with whiskeys, obviously, but I really love cigars with coffee.
Okay. I'm so glad that you brought that up because this entire time I felt like we're excluding our sober crowd, which are probably 10%, 15% of the market. A lot of people that are sober get into cigars, and it's a really cool outlet for them that's non-addictive. And I shouldn't say non-addictive. That's up to the person. I don't feel that they're addictive. Like, if I had to go without cigars, I can go without cigars.
Isabella's. I'm sorry, Brian.
Isabella's
is the name of that place. I wanted to say that so the guy that was asking the question knew that he could look it up. Isabella's is the name.
But one thing that I haven't seen you explore that I need to send you a bunch of are these Tea Keeper teas from England. And they are making teas that if you add a little cream to them, some of these teas pair so well with cigars, you'll forget about coffee. It's that good.
Get the fuck out of
Oh, no. Dude, some of these teas are so good with cigars that it's just mind-blowing. And so I will say that I drink a throat tea that's good for your throat. It has black licorice. And licorice goes really well with cigars.
You know what else I like a lot with cigars? One, I'm happy to try the tea situation, and I'm sure it's delicious. But I will be very surprised if it beats my favorite, which is a cortado. I love a cortado with a cigar. A cortado with a cigar. It's like a espresso with like a little bit of milk. It's like a much stronger version of a latte or a cappuccino, right?
No, so it's like all the Cuban places do that. They do cafecito or cortado.
Dude, the cortados are so good with cigars. And the other thing that's totally different, but it's still for our sober friends, I love a root beer or a cream soda with a cigar.
Root beer or cream soda is going to be your best.
Dude, it's so good with a cigar. I was going to bring one up and have one tonight with it because I think this cigar would go really good with a root beer and cream soda. But we didn't have any. I was like, fuck, I thought we had some. But I really like root beer and cream soda with cigars.
Me too.
Awesome. Zach asks, Brian and Jeremy, if you wanted to get a family member or friend into cigars, what would you recommend?
It depends on the person, man. I know that's like a thing, but it depends on what things they like, right? If they're the kind of person that doesn't like strong coffees or strong whiskeys and they've got a more mild palate and they're not into that kind of stuff, then, I mean, and Brian, you can correct me, but I would say shoot more toward like a mild, maybe Honduras, some kind of Davidoff or some kind of Connecticut or something that's a little milder and easier. If they're the type of person that likes espresso, they like dark coffee, they like whiskeys and all this stuff, then I'm a huge fan of a dark wrapper cigar like a broadleaf, a Maduro of some nature. The AJ Fernandez New World. One of the ones I recommend to people all the time is the, oh God, what the fuck is it? It's the Plasencia Alma Fuerte. Yeah, that fucking cigar is thunder.
For me, the Uncle Paulie is the beginner cigar in our lineup. The Uncle Paulie is it. But the truth is, the first 6 months of smoking, you don't know what the hell you're tasting anyway.
Right.
So I think it's more about the pairing in those
Right.
stages. Coffee, tea, something sweet.
You know, something we need to do that I did with another cigar club, but I would be interested to do with you guys, is putting together a beginner cigar bundle. I did that with another cigar club, and it went really well. I think there's still some available, but they might not have restocked it. We've sold out a couple times. But anyway, I think I took a different approach to the beginner cigar bundle than a lot of people, where you'll see a lot of beginner cigar recommendations on YouTube and stuff, and it's just a whole lot of really light wrappered cigars. I took a different approach with my bundle I put together, and I put a little bit of everything in there. I put a light wrappered cigar. I put a broadleaf cigar in there. I put a finished cigar in there. I did a Camacho rum barrel aged because I think I like seeing, so you could kind of, because like you said, you're all over the place when you first start smoking cigars, and I think giving people a assortment of the different things cigars offer, so that way they can figure out what their palate likes, right? Because everybody's going to be different.
For sure. Next question.
Alrighty. Louis Toro Jr.
My man, he's coming here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Asks, love the video with the visit to Aganorsa. Did I miss the cigar rolled in newspaper, or is it coming up?
You did not miss the cigar rolled in newspaper, and I have to admit that this has been a recurring theme with my dealings going to Aganorsa, to the factory, to the small factory in Miami. Is I'm getting promised things and they're not necessarily coming true. The one thing we have to understand about Aganorsa is they don't actually roll their cigars, particularly anymore. They had bought a factory that rolled cigars for them. They now outsource it. Selling tobacco, actual tobacco, is their business. That's their main business. That cigar, I've called Paul several times since then, and they're always waiting for some wrap relief or something like that. So I don't know that that's ever going to come true, which is disappointing. I drove down there, I did the thing, and, but it is what it is. I love those people, Terrence especially. I have no hard feelings, of course. They grow some of the best tobacco in our industry, but I don't know when that will be available. I was told December 1st. Now I'm told March, and it's March, and I'm still getting kind of, the no answer.
That was like my barrel pick thing, man. It's just like, what the fuck? It's frustrating when that kind of stuff. And I love Woodford Reserve, and I've been to the distillery. It's fantastic. I love the people there. I think it's a great company, but it's irritating when like something stalls out, and you're like, well, what the fuck's going on here, man? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? What's going on? See, somebody just commented they love that beginner cigar bundle. Yeah, dude, I think giving people a variety as a beginner, and I know I'm kind of revisiting, but I think that's important because, like I said, I don't know why. Every time I watch a beginner cigar video on YouTube, it's a bunch of Connecticut wrapper shit. And I'm like, well, why would you assume that that's what everybody... And I also think, Brian, this is an interesting thing to talk about and get back to him, read more questions. I don't think light wrapper, like a Connecticut wrapper, is necessary. There are a lot of dark wrapper cigars that are much sweeter.
So we have one called the Gray Wolf, which is it's to show what an actual Mexican broadleaf or San Andreas wrapper tastes like.
That's another good one, dude. San Andreas.
And it's smooth, it's herby,
Sweet.
It's creamy, yeah. And that's called the Gray Wolf. I believe we still have that in stock. Yeah, the color of the wrapper doesn't mean anything.
It throws newbies off, though, because they think, oh, dark wrapper, that's going to be like a super strong, pungent cigar, and that's not always the case. Sometimes the dark wrappers are smooth and sweet and chocolatey, and, I mean, to somebody that's new to cigars, Connecticut wrappers can be a little, like, cedary and almost, I wouldn't say bitter, but it can be a little, like, more...
Well, the new wave Connecticut cigars are sort of full body.
Well, dude, you know one of my favorite, other than Uncle Polly's, was the, oh, God, what was that Connecticut? It was a white and gold label. Oh, God, what was it? It was, I forgot. It was a pretty expensive cigar, too. But I like Connecticut's and Uncle Polly's that way, that don't necessarily, if you blindfolded me, I wouldn't necessarily right off the top of my head go, yeah, this is a Connecticut. Like, they're a little, like, creamier, caramel, richer. They're not quite so, like, I always say Connecticut's can be a little, like, They're like a little up here and spiky sometimes. They're like
treble.
Sharp.
They have a lot of treble.
They have a lot of treble, right?
Yeah.
They're not. That's a great way to explain it. There's a lot of treble, and I think bringing a little bass into that situation can kind of be a better situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. I think beginners can start anywhere. They can start anywhere because they don't know how to retro. So
Right.
just find something that you like. Pick a few different things. Find something you like. You know, this is a really crazy, full-flavored cigar. But for a beginner, I could see where if you're not retroing, it's just sweet and juicy. And that's cool, too.
New World, a perfect example of the New World, the OG New World, the dark. That's a perfectly palatable cigar for a newbie.
If you're not retroing, for sure.
A Patron 19. I always get them mixed up. Padron. What's the two major Padrones that everybody
26 and 64.
I think it's the 64. And not in the natural, in the Maduro, right? Because they make those both in natural and Maduros. Man, that's just a smooth, easy smoking cigar, dude. It's a beautiful cigar, and I don't think that's going to throw any newbie off. Matter of fact, when people ask me a lot of times, like, oh, I'm going to a bachelor party or I'm going to a wedding and I want to get my groomsman's a cigar, like that's one of the ones I always recommend because I think it's palatable for like almost anybody.
I love the Vintage Reserva, which comes from Honduras. It's amazing. I don't care what level you're at. It's an amazing cigar. It's really not like that. A lot of the My Father stuff, as a beginner, I'd stay away from because it's very full body.
Yeah, I love My Fathers, but they are, I would say, a little more. I like, dude, if you can get.
That's an experience. You need to be experienced to understand what makes that good.
If you can get a La Opul, I think it's the La Opulencia in a Lancero. I think that's the one they have in a Lancero you can find sometime, and that is a fantastic cigar in a Lancero. Is it La Opulencia that's in a Lancero, or is it?
Yes. No, they have it in a Lancero.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic.
Let's do a couple more questions and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, Jeremy, Stephen Nugent asks after out.
Is he related to Ted Nugent?
Yeah, right. My boy Ted.
Will you be uploading the inline exhaust fan for the cigar room video, or did that not get enough feedback? Middle of the road. I'm about to redo the cigar room, honestly, and I'm going to be doing a video series on the redo, so maybe I'll include some of that in the video. I'm actually going to tear out this entire wall back here. There's like a closet over here. And I have my overflow whiskey storage in there because I can't fit it all on the shelf. And they're tearing out this closet, and I'm doing a built-in. They're building in a built-in along this whole wall. So it's going to be a 12.5-foot wall of shelves all for whiskey with cabinets down below, humidor, and all that stuff.
Nice.
So I think I'll have room for about 350 bottles on the shelves, and then another couple hundred in storage down below in the cabinets. Because right now, dude, I've just got, I don't know if you can see.
You got to have me over for that to see your new bar.
Dude, I've got so many bottles just stacked on top of each other. I've got bottles of whiskey coming out my ears everywhere because I buy them constantly to do reviews and, keep in line with what's going on. So if I want to, if I find one I really like, I'll do a review on it or for pairing cigars. So I'm always buying whiskey constantly, and I'm just running out of space. So when I do this remodel, maybe I'll go into I actually, since the original video where I talked about it, I've beefed up, and now I have 2 inline fans in here, and man, I forgot how many cubic feet of air it moves a minute, but I mean, this room does not get smoky. Like, it does not. Like, this motherfucker moves some air, buddy. There's no smoke does not linger for long in this room. I think it's recycling, if I remember it correctly, it's recycling all the air in this room like 2 or 3 times a minute or something like that.
That's where we're at. We're at like once a minute.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's where
the smoke is.
Right, like you'll see it when I blow out. It hangs for a second, but then very soon it goes
It's
perfectly
tough in
clear.
a Florida summer. It sucks in the summer, but it is what it is. I'd rather be hot than inhale secondhand smoke.
Sure, you really need, if you're going to smoke indoors, because that's where cigar smoking can be unhealthy. If you're hotboxing yourself in a room with a bunch of smoke, that's unhealthy. It's going to burn your eyes. It's not good for you to breathe all that shit in. You want to be in an area that's either a room that's really pumping that air out or outdoors.
Next question.
Awesome. Brian from Jason Castro, do you have any more video interviews with brand owners that you work closely with coming out?
The next interview is always around the corner, Jason. Possibly, yes. Not much to say on that front.
Real quick before we go to the next question.
Yeah.
Final third thoughts real quick. I said...
It got nutty for me. It got very nutty, which is great.
I'm holding at a medium full in the body. I'm holding at a medium full in the flavor. I'm holding at a medium full or a long on the second to the longest on. In my book, it's keeps on keeping on for the finish. And I said, still sweet leather, cedar. I'm getting all the things, but I said the same thing. The nuttiness went way up.
It tastes still like this book looks.
Yeah. Smoke's still thick, and I get a little more of the coffee. But earlier, it was more of like a coffee with cream for me. As you get toward the end, it gets a little more of like a bitter espresso type situation.
I lit my second one, and I'm getting a lot more coffee on this one. Coffee, cream, nuts, leather, cream, little spice. This is a banger, bro. You picked the right cigar.
Well, part of that is you sending me good samples, so we're not going through a whole bunch of shit having to get to it. It usually doesn't take a whole lot of samples before you've nailed it down.
I know what you like.
Yeah,
and I know what my members like. And so when we put something, pardon me, I get the hiccups. When we put something in the box,
are you drunk?
A little bit. There are things that I know the average. Okay, so there are some things that are like with the monthly box, I have to put it in a banger. There's got to be a forefront banger. Like this cigar, doesn't matter what you like, you'll love it. Then there's this cigar is like
a journey, interesting, fun.
It's a great example of a certain style. That second cigar, right?
Right.
So Davidoff guys, a lot of them left. They're out of contract. It's been 30 years. And so, okay, like next month we have this thing called Madonna. It's a Davidoff cigar. It's a Davidoff blend, the whole thing, right? And then that third cigar I can play around with a little bit. And that's going to be something where you may not like it. And that's okay to not like it. But you're going to know why you don't like it, and it will make you a more educated cigar smoker going forward. You'll know, I don't like this kind of wrapper with this kind of bind, that kind of thing.
Well, and it informs your palate, and it gives you a funky little adventure, right? Like I say that about some of the super peaty, smoky scotches sometimes. It's like, is that something I want to sit down and just savor? Look, I love Isla scotches, but some of them are a little bit hardcore. Yeah. But it's still fun sometimes just to go on a little funky adventure and taste something wild.
Especially if it's aged and, unique and really, something that no one else can get.
Really stretch your palate a little bit and be like, ooh, that's something different. And when you smoke as many cigars as we do, it's sometimes it's nice just to get something different. You know what I mean? Because so many things have common threads. So when you get something that's just wild and out there, you're like, I don't know that this is something I'd want to smoke every day, but it's fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Nate M asks, Brian, are there any news on Smoke Signals episode 2?
Yeah, there's news on Smoke Signals episode 2. And it's not good. I've never been nothing but, upfront with you guys. I think episode 1 was unmatchable. Shout out to Claudio. Shout out to Thomas. What those guys did in episode 1 was okay. So I have to. Every time, Jeremy, it's like it goes back to that thing: is how much do I want to bring them behind the scenes? Because I don't want to bring them behind the scenes enough to not like certain things or certain, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we lose about 30 to 50 grand every time we do a Smoke Signals. But for me, it's so important for the culture that I'm willing to do that once a quarter, once every 6 months.
Right. And that's like me with a lot of cigar episodes. It's like, it's a labor of love, and I do it because I love it, because I'm definitely losing money, not in the fact of like you, but I'm spending that time on doing something where I'm not making a penny, where I could be putting something in there that I would be making a good amount of money on. So you have to balance that. You don't want to not do it, but you do have to balance it.
So my gut told me don't bother with episode 2 right now. And everyone around me said you have to continue with the Smoke Signals series. And I did, and we made episode 2, and it's not an episode of Smoke Signals. It is a documentary on the family and the farm that grows San Andreas wrapper that we all love.
Oh, such good stuff.
And so we're going to put that out. There is a cigar that pairs with it, but it won't be, I will not allow the Smoke Signals name to go on it. It's not a Smoke Signals. There's no story to the cigar the way that the first one had a story to that Peruvian tobacco. So we're going to put it out as a documentary for Cigar Public and Cigar and Spirits magazine, which is now a part of Privada. And we're going to just put it out as a documentary. So unfortunately, there won't be an actual episode 2 of Smoke Signals right now. The good news is I think we're bringing back Spirited Smoke.
Yeah, some of those were great, man.
Yeah.
Some of those early ones you did, I really enjoyed a couple
The
of those.
next
Those were
one
really
will
good.
be in July to pair with our Japanese or sushi-themed box.
Oh.
And we have teamed up with a company, a restaurant locally here that just got a Michelin star. It is a sushi sake style omakase. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. This is a $1,000 plate. It's $1,000 for you and your wife to go there, Jeremy. They love our channel. They love what we're doing. We went there. We met them. We did the $1,000 experience. It was amazing, and we're going to try to capture that on film for a Spirited Smoke sushi or Japanese cuisine and cigars situation. So I'm working on that. Either way, July will be a sushi-themed box. And I'm very excited about that. But unfortunately, Nathan, Smoke Signals 2 may not happen.
It's Soseki Modern Omakase?
Soseki, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Brian, what was your favorite place to visit and why?
So nothing's going to beat my time with AJ because of the learning experience. And I got to visit Rolls-Royce before I went to visit, any of the local shops. And so that's my baseline, and that's amazing. Costa Rica itself is so welcoming and so amazingly beautiful, and the climate, for the time of the year we went and everything. Costa Rica is one of the most special places I've ever been, and it's one of the first places I plan to bring my wife when we travel outside of the country. So they have very special tobacco. I'll leave it at that. And it's an amazing place. Also, the Dominican Republic is fucking awesome too. Like, they're all awesome. I don't know the actual answer to that because I had one of the most amazing experiences in the Dominican Republic. For someone that's just traveling there without the contacts and support that we have, I would say Costa Rica. Oh, yeah. Nicaragua was a little hard to travel to in a sense. It's very different. I wouldn't bring my wife there. Dominican Republic, I would. But Costa Rica, I would bring the whole family to, and it's a piece of it's paradise. It's paradise on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. The Orlando guy asked, could you guys re-plug the podcast? Like, he's asking what names, when it comes out, stuff like that.
We don't have a set day that it comes out, do we? Have we?
It usually comes out on the 15th of each month, and it's called Local Social Pub.
Yes.
And you can just YouTube search Local Social Pub. You'll find the first 2 episodes. We just did the 3rd episode this morning.
And then keep an eye on the socials. We always promote it on there when it drops and all that stuff.
For sure, for sure.
But
Awesome.
once a month.
Let's do one more question, and then we'll get out of it. That'll be 2 hours.
Alrighty. Jeremiah Freeman asks, when's the next Smoke live session?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Another question. Thank you, Jeremiah.
I whenever something cool comes up, but I think this is something we should do a little more often. I think this is
easier than the podcast.
I've got a video for Brian that I'm making just to kind of talk about how the clubs open back up for members and stuff like that. But I think maybe once a month or once every other month or once a quarter.
I think once every 2 months would be suffice.
Yeah, we'll jump on here and do one of these. We'll pick a good cigar that you guys have got going or something that we enjoy and get on here and smoke it and shoot the shit.
Awesome. One more and then we'll get out of here.
Long Ash Lucas asks, how do we get involved with the cigar journey with you guys?
I mean, I don't know. What do you mean?
Privada or
involved
Jeremy?
how?
Just watch the videos, get the cigars as we release them, the stuff that we do on Smoke Live like this. I mean, I would say you should probably subscribe or, follow the Instagram page for Privada because that'll tell you everything that's happening. And then you can go to YouTube from there. We'll do one more. One more question.
Instagram is normally where I post anything I'm doing. I usually put a short. What the hell are those things?
Stories.
I put stories up with links anytime I do like a live with Brian or something like that. I will be doing more Leaf and Barrel episodes on my second channel, which is I don't know if this person's watching from your channel or mine, but Jeremy Siers After Hours is my second channel. That's the channel I do all my cigar content on.
That's the channel we're on now, right?
Right. So if you want to follow the cigar related stuff, subscribe to the After Hours channel. And then,
same thing.
Awesome. And then got another question here from Ryan Miller. He asks, what is the future of cigar brands that were sold to one of those big cigar
There is no
internationals?
future for them. And if AB's still on, I'm sorry. I have no idea what your plans are. Or Matt Booth or any of his fans are here. I'm sorry. I have no idea what your plans are. But it doesn't matter because it's owned by a corporation now called STG Group that is based out of another country. And, this has been my thing. I got into this business to promote brands. What I realized within the first few years were that the brands don't actually make the cigars typically. And that, I needed to follow a different path. And that's the path that we're on now as Privada members, which is finding the actual craft makers, the people that make the cigars. And so that has been our thing to follow. And those are the people who are my MVPs. Those are my baseball players. Those are my superstars, the guys that actually make the product. And it's tough because they don't speak English, a lot of them. And, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm learning Spanish, and we have people that can kind of translate. But, brands and the craft cigar movement don't always go together. The craft cigar movement follows the people that actually make the product, and that's what Privada is all about. So we'll do one more. I think we do one more question.
I just noticed one person said, could you say in advance cigars you smoke in the future so we could enjoy along with you? We did announce, like I said, that's why follow us on Instagram, because I know Privada and myself both with this one, we promoted it a week and a half out.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks out so that people did have time to order the cigar, get them, and smoke along with us. So anytime we do one of these smoke lives, we do try to announce ahead of time what the cigar is.
Smoke
and what
jive.
we're doing. Right, so that you could do it with us. So yeah, just
man,
like
that's a diamond. That ain't a diamond. Watch this. Cuts his windshield with it up in smoke. A diamond will cut your motherfucking windshield. Hey, man, they fucking cut my windshield.
That was Up in Smoke. Those are classics.
Classic.
One last one from Stig Hamar. I'm going to add a little bit onto this. He says, will the Hold Fast by Jeremy Siers and Privada ever be sold outside the U.S.? And I'm going to add on to that. I know we mentioned it earlier. When are these going to be available?
Yeah, so we're going to sell in the U.S. first. In 2024, we will be at Intertabac in Germany, and that's where we will introduce our stuff to more of Europe. Right now, it'll be sold in Norway in the interim, but that's the only Norway and Canada are the only places that we have direct channels with. And by the way, if you know anyone in your home country that should carry our cigars, please email clark@privadacigaclub.com.
I see one that I want to say. Somebody had said it's on there. I can't. My old eyes can't read all the names very well. Somebody said, Jeremy, how would you react if you found out your oldest son was smoking some of your sticks? You mean from a perspective of would I care if he smoked or if he was stealing my cigars? If he's stealing my cigars, me and him are going to have a problem. But I mean, as long as he was of age, 21 years or older, when my sons get 21 years or older, I hope that we can enjoy a cigar together. Like
I honestly feel like after visiting these factories and companies and the families, that 14 plus, like my daughter can have her first cigar at 14, no problem.
I don't. I only because I've heard some weird things about nicotine and stuff potentially stunting growth. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Like I don't. I mean, look, I was smoking very young, right? Like, but that was a different era when people smoked cigarettes and it was crazy. Like people didn't.
That's a good question for my wife, babe. What's the earliest age you would allow Elle to try a cigar? Honestly, I said 14. Yeah. She said no. She said 21.
Yeah, I mean, I would think once they're grown, right? Like if they're old enough to drink and have a whiskey, if they could sit down with me and have a whiskey and a cigar, like I'm perfectly cool with that. Like, yeah, if he's up here snatching my cigars at 17, I'm going to kick his ass because he doesn't need to be doing that. But
that kid's going to roll the best blunts.
But I think. Going back to that, I think cigars is a bonding thing, right? It's cigars smoked with friends is one of the best cigars you'll ever smoke, right? So I'm hoping that when my boys get older and they're 21, we can sit down and have a little father-son chat, a nice whiskey, have a cigar, and enjoy the experience together. So, yeah, I don't really have a problem once they're of age. But, no, if he's none of my kids are close to that at this point. I have a funny story, and I'll try to make it quick because I know we're closing it up.
Oh, will you try to make it quick?
I will. To tell you how different times are, when I was a kid, I used to, and we're talking kid, like 5, right? Like young. Everybody smoked. I would go up just to emulate, grab cigarettes out of my parents' ashtray and puff on them. And my dad says, I tell you what, let him smoke one. They used to yell at me, you can't do that, stop. So one day my dad's like, told my mom, he's like, let him smoke one. He'll turn green, he'll get sick, he'll never want to touch one again. So he sat there, he let me smoke a whole cigarette. He was expecting for me to get sick and do all this. I looked at him, I said, fire up another one, Dad. He used to love to tell that story because he thought he was going to get me, and my answer was fire up another one, Dad.
I love it.
Yeah, so fun. It shows you different times, right? Different times.
Yeah, for me, 14. I'll share a cigar with Elle at 14. What you got? No more? You're good? All right, so that's it for this edition of Smoke Live. Thank you
Closing
guys so
out,
much.
This thing I smoked down to the bitter end, and this thing still has not gone bitter and accurate. It's still nice all the way. I mean, and I've got this thing's about to burn my mustache.
You really picked a winner, my friend, and not a booger.
You too, my friend.
A good cigar. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you so much.
Brian.
You have no idea how much you've helped us, and I hope it goes both ways.
Oh, it absolutely does, man. I've had nothing but great experience with Privada. That's why I've worked with you guys for years. I will continue to work with you guys. At this point, you're a close personal friend of mine.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
So, I mean, it's been awesome, and I hope to continue this. Anytime I look to do something cigar related, I always go, I got to call Brian because I know it's going to be good. It's going to be done well, and it's going to be a good thing for me, for you, for the people out there.
Yeah.
And it's always a good experience.
Well, cheers to that. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'll have a final drink with you here. Please say hello to your lovely wife for us. And
Same here.
We will we'll see you next time, man. Thank you so much. I look forward to releasing the actual. It's a cool box. We're not done yet. Perfection.
Like you said, maybe within the next year and a half or 2 years is probably when it'll actually be. Maybe a little sooner. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's
end of 23, beginning 24.
Yeah, but it'll be a while.
Yep.
But we got some of these to run through to keep you guys busy with something until that thing's done. Love all you guys. Smooches.
See you guys soon. Thank you. Branca, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, Branca, thanks, buddy. This went smooth. We appreciate you, my brother.
This would not have happened without you.
No, it for sure wouldn't have.
Definitely would not have.
No, dude, no, because there's a lot of technical shit going on behind the scenes, and I would have had it all fucked up.
Thank you, guys. Peace.